I'm going to officially call the meeting to order because we have a lot of things on the agenda here. So, pursuant to the provisions of 2.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, please take notice the decisions of the National Public Library Board may be appealed to Chancery Court of Davidson County for review on the common law writ of certiorari. Oh, got to stop your dinging. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or other entity considering an appeal should consult with an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. And for public comment, pursuant to TCA 8-44-12, time is reserved at the beginning of the library board meetings for which there is an actionable item on the agenda for public comment germane to items on the agenda. Up to 5 people will be allowed up to 3 minutes each to speak. Speakers must register within 1/2 hour prior to the beginning of the meeting by signing their names on a physical sign-up sheet available at the entrance and identifying any agenda item on which they intend to comment. So has anyone signed? No one has signed? Okay. You would think I would have memorized that by now, but I have not.
It's not memorizable.
It's not memorizable, especially I wouldn't remember the writ of certiorari.
That is memorizable.
That's memorizable. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming today. I know it's terrible outside, and we expect it to get worse. So we're going to go on. We're expecting Rosalind to be available. I think we have 2 members who, Kate and Jarvis, aren't able to be with us today. Jarvis is in a conference, and Kate is, I wish that was where Kate is today. She's on vacation. But thank you all for coming. There's so much, as you know, so much goes on at the library, and I know that Terry will mention some of this, but I want to thank people, everybody who attended the State of Metro. It was standing room only. And because we were hosts, we got to have seats, which was great. But we were able to take a picture with the mayor. So I think we sent that to you, Andrew, so you would have it. I think we sent it to you. Okay, so you would have that. But it was great, and we were so glad all the mentions of the library that he did. And then some of us were able to attend the charrette here to look at what we're going to do for outside, and so Terry's going to report on that. And I was able to be a part of the Black Men in Leadership. This is our second one? Third one. It was packed. I was so surprised at how many people were there. And so we just have to work on how we incorporate them into the library, you know, where they fit, and have them be volunteers and donors and everything. And I was really humbled to be on a panel with Andrea Fanta and Brett Wilson here at the library, and Paige Clancy, who is on the foundation board. We were on a panel after a preview of a documentary. Here it was at the library, but also co-hosted by, correct me if I'm saying anything wrong, by Nashville Public Television here. So they had their board here, and some of their, I want to say Young Leaders Board, for a better term. But you all really have to see the documentary. You can go onto PBS, you can do it through your phone, on your television. It's called Free for All, the Public Library. And it's a documentary on how libraries started, and what they have done for people in the United States of America. You know, how it was very heartening because the library has been through so much, but the library is still here and free for everybody in spite of obstacles. So it is great. So please look at that. It's called Free for All, the Public Library. So that just go on PBS, or you can get it on your phone. And be sure you get the right one, because there's a little one that's a little promo. You don't want that one. You just want the you want the
you don't want the trailer, you want the full
I think it's 60 minutes. It's an hour long. It's an hour long, so be sure you get that one. It's really good. And that's it for me, unless anybody on the board has anything else. Okay. Let's go on then to the minutes, our April 15th minutes. Are there any corrections, additions?
I have none. I move passage.
All right.
Second.
Second, so we have a motion and a second to approve the board minutes for April 15th. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Minutes approved. Terry.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I look forward to seeing most of you tomorrow at 4:30.
You wearing red?
I have a royal blue suit, so I have to, sorry.
And if you don't have red, we have red stickers for you.
Okay.
I'll wear a sticker. How's that? So I feel really good going into tomorrow because the mayor recommended most everything that we asked for, which I'm super excited about because we didn't really know going in what the budget would look like for this next fiscal year. So the only two, and I did a detailed report in my email on Friday giving the actual specifics of what we received. But the only two things that we didn't get was the two positions for the bookmobile. Those are currently funded through the foundation and Dollar General. And then the NASA is recommended for $200,000, but Anna had asked for $705,000. So if we do get those questions tomorrow, we'll go ahead and answer those. Like Joyce said, such an honor and a privilege to have State of Metro here and for the mayor to lead in with the library. I mean, I didn't even have words. So it was a great day. So this is one of the reasons you love to do this job. The other thing that we just found out this morning, and the council will need to approve it, is that we are getting a third allocation of 4% funds. What? I know. Last year we got one. So this year there's three. But this is really good for us because Larry, who's here, and he can speak up and correct me if I'm misspeaking, is we found out that we needed about $750,000 next fiscal year to replace servers. And so that was usually done by ITS. And so Larry talked to Susan, and then Susan, we were like the last day that she was talking with our finance person to be able to put this into the budget. So we found out today that they're recommending $400,000 of the $750 for this allocation, and then they'll, usually July, they do another one, a new one for the new fiscal year. So we're thinking, because it said one of two, that the $350,000 will be in the next allocation. So Larry's very relieved of that, and so are we, that we don't have to find the $750,000 somewhere in our budget. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was the continuous improvement plan. Excited to say that I presented the final draft to the library managers last week, and then Clifton Pay, who is the performance management manager in the mayor's office. He came and met with me a week ago, and he had all these notes on his page, and I was like, oh my gosh. But he said it was wonderful, and he really did not have any other additions. He was just super excited that the staff had been involved in creating this plan, and he loved the part, Nadine, I credit where it's due, about celebrating as well. So thank you for all of your work in helping us get to this point. And we will plan on starting July 1. In June, I'll do a couple of sessions for staff virtual so that they can, come on, and if they have questions or concerns or anything they'd like to ask, we'll do that in June.
Good to see it.
Yes, I thought it would be nice next month since we had so much on the agenda today. I can email it to everyone. Okay. The next thing is last Monday, I was asked to do a presentation at the Rotary, and I had to follow Joyce.
You gave a speech.
Yes, they wanted 20 minutes and then questions. So anyways, but I had to follow Joyce's introduction, so no pressure there. But thanks to her for the wonderful introduction. And during the presentation, we talked about the collaboration between the foundation and NPL. So that we did that. We are continuing the assistant director interviews, so we'll finish up the first round for Maine next week, and then Friday I'll be finishing the interviews for. I've had the position, Bernie's previous position, really has been open for the last 3 years, and trying to save us money, but also I did hire someone, and then they decided to move back to California, so she was here for all of 3 months. So looking forward to being able to have that position filled, and also the Maine. The position for innovation collections and technology closed last Friday, so we'll go ahead and start interviews for that as well. So lots of time interviewing. The other thing I just wanted to mention was that Kyle came to me and asked, and then came to the leadership team about us doing weddings. This was something that the conference staff wasn't asked about. They were told they were going to do weddings, and they weren't given any additional staffing to be able to do weddings. And so they have been doing this for many, many years, and those folks that have been doing it are now, 60s, and that is very physical labor. So what we're thinking is, with the courtyard that in that condition, we'd really like to discontinue doing weddings. Georgia is actually, Georgia, for all of you know, she's incredible. And she recommended this because she said not only that, but when the brides are they're very high maintenance. They come, and they're that anyways, but at the same time, like, we've had wine spilled on the marble, which we tell them no red wine. They still do it. We've had them, they're not supposed to take pictures on the steps, and they're taking, all these things that if they went by our guidelines and followed them, I could see. But, if there's something where the board thinks that you really don't want to do this, then I think we're just going to have to hire, temporary staff or do something, because I cannot ask these folks to continue to do this, because it is they put in 2 solid days, around the clock to make these happen. So anyhow.
They get paid for overtime because they're doing this at night, I suppose, right?
They are doing it, and a lot of times we try to adjust the schedules so that we don't do overtime, but you have security costs that are involved, and other things. So Kyle, did you want to say anything else?
Paying for all of that? Go.
They are paid. Do I need to say that?
Yes, please.
Sorry, Missy. Okay. Hello. Yes, they do. We do charge fees for the weddings. I think we're just at a place. I think we're at a capacity level with our current staff for the conference center, and we're at a place now post-COVID where our business for the conference center, regular business, has kind of returned back to normal, and so it's they've really felt the crunch trying to run a conference center 7 days a week, and then have State of Metro, other the gala, other big events that we have in this building, and then to have to do weddings in the evenings on top of that. It's starting to feel like a crunch, that the staff is more mature than they were. Is that a nice way to say that?
That's much better than the way
they
I
were
said
before.
it.
So that we would like to sort of parlay out of that business, if at all possible, but of course with the board's blessing and approval. But that's kind of where we are.
The next and last wedding so far on the books is October the 4th. So, yeah.
How much is a wedding?
It depends on which space they're in.
I remember that when you rent the space for a wedding, the money goes into the Metro General Fund rather than
No.
our money.
No, it goes into a special revenue fund. We were
There's
given,
something that
Ours,
works
though,
that way.
It's ours.
we were given permission to put it in special revenue because we buy equipment and stuff for down there for upkeep.
Would it matter if we charged more?
Hire additional staff.
Yes.
And
That's-
maybe, and add a fine for red wine and
Well, yeah,
taking
seriously.
pictures on the steps.
Or is it just?
If any violation, or we have to,
But you don't have money in the budget for additional staff, do you?
No, we do
Not, right.
Also, it's very disruptive to normal.
Jenna, you have to go.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I was just saying, it's very disruptive to normal library business because a celebratory event, you're loud, you're having fun with your family and loved ones, and people were coming into the library while we were still open, you know, joyfully, but they were very disruptive to our library patrons. So I think that's another thing to consider.
And Georgia did say, you know, if we did want to continue this, then her suggestion would be to go all in and to hire staff to go with that. I just wanted to bring it up right now because that way maybe if you all want to vote or have a discussion about it, because I know the agenda is full today, that you all could do that in June.
And when I said hire staff, I wasn't thinking of
Temp?
contracted.
So
Yeah.
it would match the demand.
Right. So think about it
A lot of
and
questions, because I would want to know, had we looked at prices for other comparable spaces, and if we do it, make money. Just make money doing it, but it would have to cover overtime, and I realize disruption. I'm just looking at both sides of it. So maybe, yeah, I think we have a discussion next time.
What's the downside? What's the downside of not doing it? I mean, it's not really, I mean, I remember this being debated a long time ago, and I thought at one point we said we weren't going to do it. And I was sort of assuming when you started talking that we weren't doing it. But, I mean, I think it's nice for us to do, but it's certainly not part of our core mission to, you know, host weddings. It's a beautiful facility and people want to use it, and so I think we've said, well, let's just be nice and do that. But I just don't see there's a downside to not doing it. And it does, I do understand the red wine problem. No matter what you do, it's probably going to be a problem. And, you know, this building's not getting any younger. We don't need to put more stress on it than we have to.
Could we put it on, do you mind if we put it on the agenda next time? And I hate to ask staff to do work, to prep for something, but I like enough information, you know, to talk about it, because I'd love to know, like, what's it cost to have a wedding at the Hermitage down here? What would it cost to have a wedding down there? Other venues, let's compare and see. And even things like, how much money have we made on it? And if we have to pay staff, you know, so what are we netting on weddings? You know, so I think a full conversation for which we don't have information now.
And to make sure that we're listening.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Listening to what it is that the staff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And if it's okay, could we also, and maybe this is not extra work because you all know this, where are the entrance and exit points for the areas that they could use? Like, just trying to think about the disruption, what options actually, you know, exist. Could it be a finite time frame that weddings are only hosted within 3 months and that's it out of the year?
Maybe we pause it until the courtyard is finished, or eliminate it. I don't know. I think we have a full
I think
discussion.
that may be a point of discussion too, of do we not do it, and then when the courtyard's redone, revisit it to see if,
Just pause it, yeah. Do some more research on it to see
of course, They're back here, inside the library.
All right.
Okay, so we'll put that on the June agenda. The other thing I wanted to mention is that, we're excited about announcing the artists for the Library Courtyard project. So some of you were able to attend the charrette with the artist a couple weeks ago. And so Ripon and Matt spent time visiting Nashville and the library, and we're looking forward. We don't have a final design because I really admired this about them. They wanted to come to Nashville. They wanted to learn about Nashville. And then they wanted our input in order to then move forward to create a design. And what I've been saying to people is, we have to think about the fact that we had those 40 lovely trees, and that was wonderful. Now we're turning to something different to provide the shade, but we also have to think about how it ties in to the building. The maintenance is a large thing. So there were other artists that they wanted 500,000, but the art would last for 10 years, So those are all things we were taking into consideration when we actually selected these artists. So the board that was there voted to move forward with them. And so we'll look forward to seeing their updated designs.
May I add one thing to that
Yes.
too? And that, the process to get where we ended up a couple of weeks ago has been long and had many steps and lots of oversight and lots of moving parts. And it's really exciting what we're gonna have. But Susan gets a tremendous amount of credit for
Yes.
keeping that train on the tracks. I'm serious, it's been a lot of work.
Yeah.
And ended up with a room of everybody very excited and very happy, and it didn't have to end that way. It was good. Just done
I
a good
second
job.
that. I had no idea how much had gone into this until we did that charrette the other day. I don't see how you did it, Susan. Thank you.
And she has weekly meetings.
Participatory, for the board people unable to attend. I mean, there were sheets laid out, and we were able to put what we wanted, overlay it onto what is, or clean slate of this. It was very good. And the young men who came they were just so open, and they were just so awed by the library. That's the other thing. I think when people come here and they get the aha, I get it now. I get why you say what you want to do. And the staff was there to say, Linda was here to say how they intended to use it for programming. And so all of that was enlightening for them. And then, so on the spot, they can say, well, I understand, so let's take this out. And, we would recommend this. They were changing as we were going, so that was good.
Yeah.
And they clearly feel honored to have been chosen.
Yeah, I mean,
No question
they're
about it.
very humbled. It was really wonderful.
Thank you.
But thank you for mentioning about Susan, this whole courtyard project. To think, this has been going on. It's almost, well, I'm not going to say how many years, but I know yes. She meets weekly with the folks. So anyways, okay. The other thing I wanted to mention, because I think it was really cool that the new Donaldson, we did it to be LEED certified, and we worked with General Services, who has the department, and they actually, so the Hastings Architecture actually won an award for that project, but it's an international award. It's called the Green Good Design Award for Sustainable Architecture. So they said it's the first time that they had applied for something like that, and that they were just thrilled because it's a very prestigious award. And so we did a interview with Channel 5 about it. So another one of Susan's projects. So, anyways, the last thing, two more things. The first thing is thank you to those who came to the Safety and Security Summit. We've received a really positive feedback from staff. We have a survey out right now asking them for specific anytime that the food can get kudos during a summit, it's like that's a huge deal. But especially they loved Ryan Dowd, and I had never seen him in person, and his enthusiasm and passion for what he was talking about, I think really the staff said, wow, that was something they really needed. And so that was exciting. They had the whole day where they got to be able to talk to each other. And again, thanks to Susan and Sherry and Mark Crowder, because the group worked on that since last October to actually put that together. So the last thing I'll mention is that, every day you're grateful for the incredible programs and services that this library provides, but then you get to be reminded. So Saturday, George and I came to see the new Goldilocks Wishing Chair production. And when Brett is incredible, that team is incredible, but to actually see that story come to life and to watch the kids and the parents, it was really great. So kudos to Wishing Chair Productions.
They're doing it this weekend.
I know it's the last 2 weekends. I don't remember if it's this weekend.
Well, just because of Memorial Day weekend and everything, I don't know whether they were doing it.
I can find out and let you know.
I can probably go to the website.
Okay. So.
I'd say you've got plenty to do without.
Really? Planning your weekend. So, okay, that's mine.
That's it? Any questions more from Terry? Okay, well, let's get on with the board elections.
What about Sean?
I'm sorry?
Sean.
Oh, Sean, I'm sorry, Sean, thank you.
Yeah.
I just went to the next page, thank you. Thank you.
I'll be quick. Just wanted to mention we had a great picnic with the library. So thank you for those of you who supported and attended. We had over 500 library-loving adults and children, and it's the loudest I've heard the library in a while. But it was a lot of happy noises. So appreciate just the involvement. It was our 10th, so it's become a tradition, and we are making it work without the courtyard even. But once the courtyard's ready, we'll be ready to be able to be back outside.
Was that your biggest attendance? Somebody said, and not, okay.
No, it
How
was
many people did you?
500, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think that's about. But now that we can be inside more, before we were just limited to the children's area and outside, and so now that we're kind of able to spread out. But it was a big crowd.
Well, it really worked well inside because the little folks, I mean, I've got one that's 4, and she had a delightful day just roaming around the library, She was just totally free to just do whatever she wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I think for kids that age, that's just heaven to have independence,
Yeah, exactly. No, it did work really well, the flow. We even had Nick from Studio and his team helped and provided some activities for a little bit older kids as well. But and so it was a great way just to showcase all the library has to offer and to allow the kids to just explore and experience the best of it. So the theme was where the wild things are, and it was a little bit wild, but in a very good way. Also, just wanted to update. We are finalizing our strategic plan. It will go before the foundation board tomorrow at our meeting, and want to thank you all for your input, involvement. I know through some focus groups, through some surveys, we've gotten a lot of great feedback, and I'm really excited because I think the consultants we work with are a part of the library world, and so really understood it's not just a strategic plan that's kind of could be plopped into any type of organization. It's really specific to the library. They understand the library world. They understand kind of the current nature of what's happening with the library, and allowed us to say, let's not just kind of clean up our last plan, but let's just go back and really ask some questions. What does the library need from the foundation? And how do we make sure that we are relevant going forward? And what does that partnership look like? So once that's finalized, I'll be excited to share that with you all. Library support. Two people we worked with. One is from the Seattle Public Library Foundation. She had been there for 20-some years. And then another is, her focus is strategic planning, but she's worked with libraries. So just their understanding, and they did benchmarking, so looked at other library systems and foundations about our size. That also really helped us to kind of understand the landscape of what's out there. So did a dive into what our history, where we've been, but also what's out there. And so it was nice to have that comparison. And then lastly, just a quick update with Begin Bright. We are continuing on the fundraising, switching more to individuals and doing some house gatherings over the next couple months, bringing people and gathering 25, 30, 40 people at different homes, and just inviting them to learn more about Begin Bright. And then on that, I will just mention, as a fun kind of aside, yesterday, Country Music Hall of Fame launched their Dolly Parton exhibit, and there's a timeline of Dolly Parton's philanthropic partnerships, and the last, we'll call it the finale, of
Grand finale.
the grand finale of the timeline was 2024, when the Dollywood Foundation pledged, and it just says a $4.5 million gift to Begin Bright, and then it mentions it's the largest gift in the foundation. So anyway, if you are going to get there in the next, I don't know how long, it goes for a couple months, I think, but make sure to check out the timeline and the mention of Begin Bright in that. A fun nod that we made Dolly's timeline. That's it. Yeah. That's it for me.
When will you be able to share the strategic plan with the board?
Yes. When? I'm sorry. So the board is voting on the strategic priorities tomorrow. And then from there, the staff will be continuing to work with the consultants to develop the goals and action steps. So I can share after the board votes on the strategic priorities, there's 3 of them, I can share those out. A more full, robust will come after the summer.
Oh, after the summer, okay. So fall, we can expect to hear from you maybe?
We'll plan to present at so the foundation doesn't meet until, so they meet tomorrow, and then they'll meet again not till September. So at that meeting is where we'll share the plan with the goals and kind of a little bit more detail than what. Yes. Do we have the recommendations in place? The 3 priorities? Is that what you're asking? We do. Are those shareable? The board hasn't voted on them yet, but what I'll say is there's a guiding framework that just talks about the relationship. It first starts with the relationship with the library, and then and in there it talks about trust-based philanthropy, and then there's another section just on our work in reflecting the community and our past DEI efforts, talks about that and moving that into an operational imperative. And then it moves into the 3 priorities. And just kind of really broadly, one will be, we're looking at the kind of lessons learned from Begin Bright and how do we kind of continue to kind of wrap that campaign and make sure that we're successful on the stewardship side of that campaign. And then second one is looking at building a broader base. So right now we have 1,400 donors on average a year. And so kind of in the spirit of the library, how do we look to touch more of our community? And then the third is around our advocacy efforts and just continuing with the advocacy work. And I shouldn't have even paused because we put that to the board in the survey of saying, tell us what you think about it, about these initiatives. So that is, that's definitely out there. But more will come around each of those and how we plan to live it out over the next 3 to 5 years.
I do want to let you know, that the consultant did call me to have, I think we had an hour Zoom meeting to talk about the relationship between the board and the foundation. Because I think we have a good relationship. How could it be better? Those are the kind of questions that she was asking, of us. So. That's it. Any more questions for Sean? Okay.
10:30 and 11:30.
And she can get ready for the picnic next year to bring the new baby. Okay, so the board elections, we think we were supposed to do this at our last meeting, but it really is effective July 1.
Mm-hmm.
July 1, so we have to have this, and we're trying to figure out June, so many people would be out, and so we put it on this agenda to make sure we got that done by July 1st. So we have to elect a board chair, a vice chair, and a secretary. Is that right? So the floor is open.
I think we're doing great with what we got. I would move to, I'm going to have to vote on this one at a time, I'm sure, but I would move to, if you keep doing it, Joyce, I move that we re-elect Joyce to be the chair.
I have to then relinquish to the vice chair.
Take it over. My 3 seconds of glory. All in favor of Joyce continuing to serve as chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right.
Congratulations, Joyce. It's all yours.
Thank you for your confidence. Let me thank you for your confidence.
I think you do a great job, and I think we would be, and there are plenty of people on the board that would do a great job, but you're good.
Actually,
Well,
to
thank
show
you.
why you should be chair and not me, I forgot to ask for a second. So.
Or any discussion?
Yeah, right, so motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? We will, I'd look like the minutes to record what you said about what a great job she's doing, and that could be in the discussion.
But you all are an easy group. I had to ask, I did talk to Belmont about it, because it does take a lot of time. And I'm gone from the office, a lot. And so they said, now how long would it be if, I said, if anybody would nominate me, I'm not sure, because we never know how our meetings are gonna go in this room. But they said that they would continue to let me come and do things at the library if I were to be selected. And then we also, your time, people don't realize, I think, how much time people spend, not just on the library board, but with all of the commissions and boards in Nashville. It takes a lot of time. But it's an honor, too, because I think you get to see so many things happen for everybody in the city. And we've gotten to see what impact, I think even in a year time, 2 years' time, we have seen the impact of the work that we sit around this table and do. So I want to thank all of you, too. So with that, the floor is open for vice chair. Nomination for vice.
Well, I'm out nominated. Go ahead.
Nope, you got, I think we might be saying the same thing.
Then you go ahead.
I nominate Katie Varney.
Yeah, I'm willing to accept.
Okay. There's a, no, there's a second. Thank you, see? Okay, there's a nomination for Katie Barney, and there's a second on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Katie?
Thank you so much, thank you.
So this is what retirement would be like?
I love it.
Okay, and then, so the floor is now open for nomination for secretary of the board. Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah,
I mean,
Go ahead.
I'd keep the slate as it is and nominate Jarvis. So, Susan, you sent me not too long ago, term endings, and I think, is it Kate that's next to?
I don't remember off the top of my head, sorry.
I think Jarvis, it's either Jarvis or Kate.
Is
would
Kate
be-
next?
Oh, look,
Attorney?
it's always April 6th, but I can't remember if it's Kate or Jarvis, so.
I'm just thinking Jarvis may roll off at the end of this year, certainly at the end of, he has no more than 2 years left. I don't know, I just think, he's very engaged, and I think we ought to. Okay, good.
Well, could we go, if he,
I mean, it doesn't matter to me, I'm nominating him anyway. He's very engaged, and he's always here, tries hard, works hard, very supportive. I see no reason to change, so.
it's his poetry.
Yeah.
Expires April 2026.
Jarvis?
So it would be before the end of his term if you elect him. Then at that point, if you do elect Jarvis today, you could elect someone to fill the remainder,
Okay,
then do all the elections again.
okay, thank you.
Or he could
Miss.
be reappointed.
Or he could be yeah, he
That's
could-
right, that's true.
Yeah.
And I'd go with it, and if he's not reappointed, then that's a great way to go out, and if he is reappointed, then we're okay.
Is there a second?
You want a second, you second.
So we have nomination for Jarvis Rand for secretary of the board, and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jarvis, we'll have to tell Jarvis he's at a conference for Nashville State. Maybe we have to compose a poem and tell him like that. I'm just kidding, we'll see.
He could do it.
He could do it off his head, top of his head, but, okay. Well, thank you all, and so we look forward to another year of work. Thank you. Now, so next on the agenda is Terry's, again, we want to deal with this now, because, again, we may have a problem with a quorum for June, we don't know yet, but so we put it on the agenda now, and this would be, I think I also sent each one of you an evaluation form. So if you would do that within, I think I can't even remember what I did, what time I told you, because I was doing it between things I was doing yesterday for Belmont. I stuck that when I got it from Susan, I said, let me just send that out now. And so I don't know, when did I say?
Memory is you said June 15th. but
Did I
I'm
say,
not-
so
It is June.
I asked you to get it back to me so that I can get it to HR by the end of the June. That gives me time. I actually sit and, she doesn't know who said what in the evaluation. What I do is I retype everything that you say in comments for each section. And so Terry gets a compilation of everything that she said, so I ask you to be honest. She's continuing to grow, and the evaluation is the time that we want to say, you've done a great job at this. This is where we would like for you to grow in these areas. And I just put all of your comments in each section, so she doesn't know who said what, but she gets each and every one of your comments, okay? So that'll give me time to do all of that. And then I'll ask Jarvis and Kate, when they get back, could they go ahead and do that for us? So you would get that in, and then we also have to have in the salary information. So I do want to tell you that Metro is, they have a consultant, I forget the name of the firm, Mercer.
Mercer.
Mercer, I thought I couldn't read my own writing here. Mercer is doing salary study for Metro. And they plan to have that done for July to go into effect July 1. Right now, the salary that Terry Luke has, and we've also had involved in this conversation the library HR, and then, of course, administration. The salary right now was at the interim, for the interim director that we gave her. And so now that she is the full director of the library, we have to do a salary. And I also want to say, so we're doing the salary, we also need to discuss at this point retroactive to the date that she started as director. We also need to talk about vacation in this, because I think you get, what, 3 weeks vacation?
3 weeks.
3 weeks vacation, but also not the vacation that she got when she came. You had 6 weeks?
6 weeks.
She had 6 weeks vacation before she came to Nashville. So we can say during this discussion too, what benefit would she have in terms of vacation? I think
Are
that.
there rules we have to, are there any Metro guidelines that we have to be aware of?
You can set the.
Want to get too far down the pike, only to find out.
So Sherry and Susan we've been involved in the email discussion of this, and Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, that you said that we think that we would be able to do 192. 192 was the salary that we had in when we were going to select the director.
Correct, that's the budget we set.
Okay. So,
And that was, but that was how many years ago? 3 years ago?
That hadn't changed. That's the budget that's out there right now.
she said that that's the amount that she could put in a budget for salary. So the floor is open for discussion with that information.
Well, it's a public meeting.
He's
You
asking,
go,
do you need to go?
watch it
but
on
you on
television.
camera. I mean, I don't think it's necessary unless, Macy, you tell me different. I mean,
You can if you're uncomfortable, but,
yeah.
So what are you making? What's Terry making now?
She's making now, I had it on that page, 180, 170, we approved 175, 792 for the interim director.
So this would be a.
This would be the amount that we had established for a director.
It'd be like a 10%
822%.
increase, something like that.
I want to make a note on that. And that is that for over 2 years, Terry served as interim, doing the job that Kent Oliver did every single day and didn't make anything close to what he was making. And got no special benefits, got no extra money, got, nothing else, and is actually while doing the work. And I don't know, I think that you deserve every single penny that we can put into that budget. And I feel like, in my view of this, is less, although you ask an appropriate question, and it's a good thing to know what that percentage of increase is, because that is the way salaries generally work. But I will just say that my frame of reference for your salary is much less about the fact that what the percentage of raise may be, and more about the fact of doing the job at much lesser pay than a man received for doing the job.
Susan
my two
had
cents worth.
something she wanted.
It's about a 9.3% increase.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Now I'm looking at your facial expression, Nadine. Yo, go ahead.
around Metro's study. Sorry about that. Will we then have to adjust? I'm just trying to understand the
Well,
timeline.
Susan, y'all would have to tell us, Susan. and,
Sherry's gonna respond.
Sherry Lee?
She's right there.
Oh,
Well,
there you
the-
are. I didn't
yeah.
see you. I'm so sorry.
I know, I've lost so much weight.
Okay.
Yeah, well, actually, the Metro study has already been completed, and the recommendations have been submitted to the commission and also submitted to the mayor and now to the council. So once the impact of the Metro study to the director's salary will be whatever and we've already received what our director's salary grade or pay grade will be. And what takes place now is based, whatever Terry's salary is set at, then that's how the director will be slotted into the new pay grade based on the salary. So that's why it's important for us to know now what the permanent salary is going to be for the starting salary for the permanent director, because the slotting process to this new pay grade will be based upon that salary. And so the board does not have to approve that because that's part of the pay plan. But then the additional thing will be, of course, open range, which we would have to come back for you to approve that. But the study has already been completed, and that's how it will impact what takes place with the.
They will put in what we say. Is that what I'm concluding?
Right.
Okay.
Because it would either be based on the current salary or whatever the salary is that you decide on today.
Is that Rosa?
Yes, but it just seems as though we're making decisions without information. If the process is already in play, what is it that we should know to make the best decision?
At this point, probably nothing from what Metro has decided, because the pay plan impacts all of Metro, and it will be implemented the same way with all of the directors. And I think what you all are doing today is determining what you feel her salary would be. But of course, when someone goes into an interim position, from the assistant director position, that salary that's set at the beginning is a working out of class salary that's based on at least the minimum of the director's salary. So when Terry first went into the interim position, her salary was increased at least to the minimum of the director's pay grade. And so each year you got, the open range increases that you all approve that would be in line with a person that's on the beginning steps of the beginning range of the director position. And Nadine asked the question if I had what the ranges were for the new director's pay grade. I've asked for that, but that hasn't been released yet from Central HR.
And Rosalind, this might not be what you're asking, but it also could be. And Susan and both of you, Sherry, you all may know, but go back 2.5 years, or 3 years, 3.5 years, when we started the whole process, there was a very systematic, benchmarking may or may not be the right word to use, of what salary we should offer as we're doing the search. And so, and I don't know if that's exactly what you're asking, but so how does 192 come into anything? I think it's based on that. Is that correct?
It was based on that. It was based on having to make sure we could get somebody in and what the previous director was making. That was the top end of what we had in the budget for a director at that time.
And last year, when we made the recommendation, I had gotten a copy of the salaries of every director in Metro, all the judges. This included the police chief, but we also in that information I had last year, it was the number of employees that person supervised and the budget. And that's what we I think were trying to come in when we talked last year. So I had all that information last year, so.
I think that's what I'm asking for. There's known information that I would like to have seen prior to asking the question. And I'm getting the information now, but it's in real
Yeah,
time.
yeah, great
So
questions.
thank you.
And thank you for asking the question.
Sure.
So
We want to do this.
the 192 is within range of what the current DP2 is, if that's what you need to know.
Within the range of what the current, what is?
Director.
She is
Director.
classified as a DP2, which is a department
P2.
head 2. It's just a classification,
DP2.
but
What is
but
DC?
department head.
Department. Okay.
So the 192 that's being recommended is within that range.
So Kent was making more than that, and from what I could get from Sherry, oh, he was not making more than
No.
that.
That was Kent's ending salary. That's why it was budgeted at that amount.
Yes.
That was his ending salary after 10 years of employment as the director.
But Susan, after the 3 years, you said it would be, or Sherry, it would be in the 200s now, right?
Oh, if
If
Kent had
Kent
still.
had stayed.
Oh, yeah, had he stayed, yeah.
Had he stayed,
Oh, that was
because
my
of
question.
across the board.
So this
So it
still
sounds-
represents an entry level.
No.
3 years,
No.
things would have really changed.
The 192 does not represent an entry level.
It's above entry level.
Okay, so what are the incremental, because we know that every year there is a market value in which there's an incremental increase for.
Okay, the
For a
way
role.
Metro works, because a department head, or in our case, this department head is a non-civil service position. There is a range, so you decide what the range is, and Sherry, please correct me if I'm wrong. But department heads get across-the-board raises. That's a part of Metro's pay plan. Anything above and beyond that, the library has to find the budget for. They do not give
What is
open
the
range.
increase? Like, what is the percentage of the increase that?
This year, it would be 1% if council passes it, as it's been presented so far.
And the highest you could get is between 1% and 3%, or is 1 the highest?
1 is across the board. Open range for civil service employees is up to an additional 2%.
And normally, that open range increase that has been recommended also for the director is within the guidelines of what Metro has recommended for open range employees, which are mostly your salaried employees when you say open range. But the board has the option to make that open range increase whatever you want to, that merit increase whatever you want to, but it's usually in line with what the pay plan recommendation is. And this year, it's 2%.
As people are comparing, they would have to, and I'm just saying that speculation, they would have to compare with library heads across the country, who would be normally women, whose salaries probably other department heads, too. I think we have a lot. As we do it now, at the beginning of when Metro would put salaries into DP2 or whatever it is, to put that figure in so that all boats could rise with that.
Yeah, it sounds like to me that
That's what I want.
there's
That's what I
consequences to
want.
this beyond just this year, right? So if we set it too low or too high, then we're gonna live with that, and Terry's gonna live with that down the line. And I guess I've got the question, so if this is you said this is not the bottom of, there is a range for, and what is that range, top to bottom?
I would have to look that up. Let me just say this to we're talking about the end of this fiscal year and what's going to take place in July. That DP2 is changing. That's no longer, July 1, the DP2 is no longer the pay grade of the director for the library. Metro is going to there's 5 different pay grades for directors beginning July 1. 5 being the highest. I don't know which directors are in that particular, in what pay range that hasn't been released to us yet. Terry did receive information that the library director is in a pay grade range of 3, which means that there's a 4 and a 5 that's above us. So Terry did get the information as to what her salary would be if she was slotted based upon her current salary, which is actually lower than the 192. So that's the impact of her being at her current salary, and the impact of how the slotting process beginning July 1, what it would take her to if no action were taken today, and she remained at her old salary. But I can look up on my phone to see what the current pay grade of DP2, which means that there's only, like Susan said, there's only 2 pay grades for all of Metro directors. And so, but with Kent being and Kent was a DP2 as well, with him being at a 192, his ending salary, he would have been closer to a midpoint of, or may have been over the midpoint of the salary range for the DP2 that he was in.
She's been in a position,
So
what,
the
3
192 would
years?
have been mid-range.
Somewhere around that, but I'll have to look up the actual range on my phone, the pay grade range.
I don't understand the consequence of not acting today. There's so many unknowns. You've got an evaluation in play, then you have Metro changing the grading that will now have 5 ranges, and she's currently at a 2.
I think what'll happen then is if her salary is inside the 3 range, she will just automatically be a 3.
No, she's already, she will be, if the pay plan is approved by council, then salaries, Terry's pay grade will be the 3, which is out of a 5 range. But what you're asking, you're saying that there's so many unknowns. The merit part that's based upon the performance, that doesn't have anything to really have any impact on what you're doing today. What you're doing today is trying to set what her permanent salary is. And because of the pay plan, the overall Metro pay plan, thank you, Libby, the overall Metro pay plan is that the slotting process will only take place one time. So
if she's a 3, what is the range of a 3?
We don't know that yet.
We don't know that because that has not been released to us. Because it hasn't been approved by, and Metro generally does not release these pay plan booklets with all of the ranges until it's been approved by council. But what we're basing it on what you're looking at today is what range she's in and what that salary range is. If nothing is done today, and then Terry's salary is increased, next, after July 1, because everything takes place July 1, and you don't do anything today, then when you increase, if her salary is increased after July 1, that slotting process is not going to take place, and the money Susan's going to have to find the money to be able to make this increase. Whereas during the slotting process, like Susan stated, Metro is a part of the pay plan, and Metro will, right now, the difference between Terry's current salary and the 186 that she would go up to, Metro is going to fund that because that's part of the pay plan process.
So if today you approve a 192 and then she's slotted, whatever that difference is, Metro will pay for that. Metro will put the funding in there for that. And currently the pay range is?
Okay, so the DP2 currently is 158,912. That's the starting minimum salary for the current library director. Midpoint is 238 plus, and then the maximum is 317.
Make up a range.
That is kind
That's probably why they.
That's why they're going to 5 different ones going forward.
Because you had, fire chiefs, police chiefs, water.
So that's why they're going to 5.
Yeah, they're
Makes sense.
supposedly looking at market compensate market studies plus the number of employees and all those other things that.
Thank you, we're so glad you're
The
here.
range makes it make sense. Otherwise, it's not a good question, because you don't know.
They're getting ready to change it, and that's why they're encouraging us to do it today. So this gets put into the structure of what we do. And then we're gonna have to hurry up after your question, because it's 5-1, and we still have this catalog to deal with and approve this.
Yellow
for-
pages.
And we have to enter into contracts with, yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
It's a good discussion, thank you.
No.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking if the increase is naturally between 1% and 3%, wouldn't we do 3% from the time that we posted the job at 192? Wouldn't we do the incremental increase to be at where we need to be for her salary? Why would it be not 192 in 2023 and it still hold the same value in 2025 when we know natural inflation and market review will shift? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. However, I can tell you that is what we have in the budget. So if you go beyond the 192, we have to find it somewhere.
But if we voted on it, then they
We would still have to find it.
Okay.
Yep.
But we don't, today, if it's in, it would be in the budget. And if
Today it is budgeted. If you go beyond that, we have to find it, and it has to come from another position somewhere else.
Great discussion, everybody.
Thank you.
So we have to still
I make a motion
as I
that
said, we still have to have a
Your
vote
new
on it.
salary is 192.
May I have a second? Second, Roslyn seconds. All in favor of establishing the salary?
May I have one question? I have one more discussion point. Do we need to decide vacation and all of the other pieces of the package today as well? Wait, you're saying yes, you say no.
If you're doing it,
Why
you
not?
might as well.
But it doesn't impact the salary.
Right.
Let me ask this, is this gonna be retroactive to the time she became director?
In February,
I'm sorry, I didn't get an
Yes,
answer to
the answer
that.
would be yes.
she became the official library director in February, so it would be
Retroactive to
retroactive, yes.
February.
Right now, we're setting a salary.
I believe, correct?
We're setting a salary.
And what I would need to present to Central HR is approval of you all's in the minutes, making that.
Well, that's the other thing that I failed to say, that we don't have to have a resolution for that. Council's advised us. The minutes are enough for us to set the salary. We don't have to have a resolution. This will be in our official minutes to set the salary. So we have a motion on the floor to set the salary at 190.
And make it, if I may amend
make it
my, if I may
effective.
amend my motion,
Okay, to set,
to set the salary at 192, making it retroactive from the first day that she became library director. And
okay.
set-
So there's a motion on the floor to set the salary paid retroactively, which I'm thinking you're saying.
Do you want to go ahead and address the vacation since we're doing it?
I think we do them one at a time.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Can we put these together in the motion of vacation? Do we need a separate discussion of vacation?
If you all are ready to act, I hadn't heard much discussion on, okay.
So, Katie, do you want to restate your motion?
I'd like to re-amend my amendment to the amendment. But we haven't had
So what are you?
discussion
okay, go ahead.
yet on what the vacation should be.
Well, she's currently 3 weeks.
Right.
And we were,
But before she had 6. Now, if I was jockeying for a new
What do you mean
job,
before she had said, before
At-
what?
when she came to
In Wayne-
Nashville, she
yeah.
had 6 weeks vacation.
Because
When
you
she
had
came-
enough
31 years of
seniority that it built
experience.
up over time.
Yes,
Right.
And when she came to Nashville, because it was a new position, it was 3 weeks. So she got, and so what we were asking
No, when she
is
came
to
to
go
Nashville, it
4
was
weeks.
2 weeks. She's
It was
earned
2
it
weeks.
back to 3
She
weeks.
started over at 2 weeks. And so what we were asking is, the recommendation was to do 4 weeks.
well, and again, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna speak from my,
Okay.
you know, as an employer of 35 years, anytime that I brought a senior employee in from outside, they were always granted what vacation they had at their previous role. Particularly, when someone has had this many years, you know, in a career, you don't step back and go back to you get 2 weeks and then you get to earn another week and earn another week.
This is why I wanted to do the salary and then to do the vacation, because you're doing two big things. And
There's
Terry
a-
has a voice. As HR said, generally, when you accept a position, you negotiate and you ask for what you want. The conversation we're having right now is we're deciding for her. She is an executive, so she has a voice to ask for what she wants. So the salary piece, I would like for us to continue with the motion and settle that.
We have a motion on the floor
Second.
for a salary of 192, and retroactively.
I gotta say, I'm a little troubled by this because somehow this 192 has become magical because it's in the budget. And it doesn't seem like it's on the lower end of this, of the scale, whatever you call it, field, whatever it is. I don't know. I mean, if we don't have the money, we don't have the money, but it seems like kind of a funny way to do this is that we just sort of care and put it in the budget, and then that's what's presented to us. It seems it ought to have some kind of relation to what other department heads are making, and
I think that Sherry had the opportunity to look at that's why the recommendation was made. Sherry had an opportunity to look at the other departments, compare them for number of employees and budget.
see, I'd rather give her more money and less vacation time. I think 4 weeks is a lot, but I'm not sure 192 is enough.
Well,
And
I
that's
hate
what-
to tell
Had
you
we
that I
brought
did
in
the
somebody
same
from the
negotiation.
outside, the max would have been 192, because that's what we have.
That's why I'm begging the question here to say, when we're gonna have these type of, put some information in front of us prior to, that gives us the history. I think it would be helpful for you to understand what is the range of vacation time that other department heads have. I believe it perhaps is more consistent with the 6 weeks, but we don't know, because we haven't shared that with anyone.
I have a question for Sherry and Susan. If we decide on a salary today, must we, if we're talking about vacation for fiscal year 25, 26? So must we make that decision today?
Doesn't have
You don't
to.
have to today. But they're recommending that we do the salary today because of the time frame. So there's still a motion on the floor for a salary of 192 retroactively. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Oh, Rosalind already
Rosalind had
second.
already-
So there's already a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion approved. Now, what's your preference for, it is 1:15, what do you want to do? Because we also must approve these contracts, because we have to enter into contracts with
All right, well, this-
subcontracts.
okay, I move that we make it retroactive. If that is, what was your motion to do the retroactive?
Retroactivity.
So that's done.
That's
That's
done.
Okay,
done.
well.
We have to discuss the vacation,
Okay.
but we also have to get to NASA. We must do that today.
Well, I would just ask you, do you want us to wait until the next meeting to discuss so that you have some say in it, which is what Rosalind is talking about in what you're,
That would be fine with me. We could wait.
of course, if we made it 6 weeks now, you'd have to take off between now and June.
No.
I think there's an
Well, this
opportunity
is,
for us
we're
to
talking
better
about
understand
effective July
what
1.
various contracts of department heads say as it relates to vacation as well.
Most department heads don't have contracts, and I don't think we're talking about a contract right now. It's just negotiated salary and vacation leave. So like the police chief, for example, he does not have a contract. The parks director, she does not have a contract. So most department heads don't have like a contract that we could look at. I mean, I'm sure we could get the vacation leave numbers from HR, but there's not like contracts that we can look up that are publicly available to get that information.
Sure, understood. And Terry would know what her colleagues around the country, she can give us additional information as well.
I have it on my list to do.
Okay. Sherry and Susan, thank you for all your help and all the research. It's good to have the professionals in your area and experts. Thank you. So, you want to go to NAZA? Or you want to? Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good afternoon, and thank you for giving me a space to come here today. It was very time sensitive, and I promise you won't see me next 8 months after we roll out the next fiscal year. So I'm Anna Harutyunyan, Chief Executive for NASA, and I'm here to request 2 approvals for 2 packages of contracts and amendments. So our first request is for an approval for new contracts for 12 organizations that will be receiving funding to provide after-school and summer programs in fiscal year 26. The total request is $1,529,250, and it is going to cover grants for the following organizations: AAOC Camps for Youth Development, Aspiring Youth Enrichment Services, Black Lemonade, Carnegie Riders, Elmington Elevates, Moves and Grooves, Rock Life Youth, Boys and Girls Club, Girls Right Nashville, Salama Urban Ministries, Water Walkers, Youth Encouragement Services. In total, they will serve 560 youth slots in after school, 305 in summer for fiscal year 26. Additionally, these contracts allocate funding for afternoon transportation and youth-led activities. So the program's located, so the transportation is embedded in the contract is only for afternoon drop-offs or community sites, but we do provide transportation for all school-based programs. So that is a total allocation of $500,000. That is not part of this budget, but I know you would ask, what about other transportation? So we pay that directly to MMPS. So there are more bus costs than what is included in this contract. So these organizations are 11 additional new organizations that we fund this year, but you have already approved 11 contract extensions last month. So altogether for fiscal year 26, we're going to fund 23 organizations that will operate in 56 sites, serving children and youth from 62 schools. Out of this, 16 are elementary, 46 are middle schools, and 15 out of 62 are charter schools. So all of them together will serve 1,744 slots in after school, 843 in summer, with a total allocation of $4.1 million for fiscal year 26. So today, again, I'm asking for 1.529,250 allocation for the 12 organizations. Are there any questions about this one?
Oh, I'll second and then have the
This is
discussion.
just from my, I mean, this is sort of a foundational question about NASA that goes back to, but what kind of oversight do we have? I've started to think about this today, about, treating children right, if there, is there any, if there was any abuse or something within any of these organizations, what kind of oversight do we have in the broad category of protecting the children that are in these programs?
So we have a, we have a child safeguarding policy in place. For they get training on positive youth development. It's mandatory for everyone who work with children. They're also adhering to the school policies on abuse prevention and reporting as well. We're doing site visits. We have external assessors who go to sites from time to time to assess the quality of the programs, and that includes looking into overall environment, the level of support, interaction, and all of those things. So there is a combination of oversight mechanisms, and of course, I mean, if anything happens, they
they will report. So, for example, one time it was not an abuse case with a child. It was like an issue between adults, like a bus driver and a school staff. So it was reported to us, then it was escalated to the district. So we have that like day-to-day communication mechanism with the school districts where we report things and we, try to solve problems. But it's a combination of like DHS policies that the schools implement their own policies and then our child safeguarding policy. Yes.
We had to, with our CEO, we had a malpractice insurance against anything that would, if there was any problem, we had insurance against it.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. We've had an extensive conversation with our Metro Legal colleagues about the types of insurance, and all of that is required in the contract. We do require general liability, but also sexual molestation and other types of coverage for organizations, just in case if anything happens. And then Metro, they're required to put Metro staff as part of their insurance as well, even though we don't interact with children directly, but still just to be protected.
Any other questions?
So training is a large part of our intervention. So a lot of,
Do we need to?
I was just going to clarify
She's going to enlarge on
a little further. So training is big part of like prevention. So we make sure that everyone who's coming into contact with children gets the training, and then all different like visits and oversight mechanisms that we implement during the year help us keep an eye on organizations.
These individual organizations would screen their employees. We don't do that, right?
Oh, they're all required to do background checks. Those who are in MMPS buildings are required to follow MMPS background check policies. Those who are community sites, they still have to do background checks, but they can go through other agencies. Yes, they do it.
The youth serving agencies are required to do the background checks. Yeah.
It is required in their contract, yes.
All right, go ahead.
I was going to make a motion to
Approve the one.
approve the contracts that you brought before us today. I can't say the numbers, and I was trying to write them down, but I don't really have them. Anyway,
On
I'll make a
your
motion.
page 2
Oh, there.
of your thing.
I had it pretty close. I make a motion to approve the total of $1.529250 NASA grants awards to the following organizations that have been already listed to us.
Is there a second? Okay, there's a motion to approve $1,529,250 in NASA grants and awards for fiscal year 26. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposers? You are approved.
Thank you. And I'll
then
move.
there's a second part
Yes,
here.
to my second item.
To the amendments.
I request an approval for 3 amendments for the current fiscal year. So we had some savings from transportation. I mean, depending on how many days we have, snow days or whatever, there is some money left over. And then some programs may close sites during the year, so sometimes we have savings left. So I wanted to use that money purposefully. So we have worked with MDHA and identified 3 organizations that were able to expand their June camp for 3 public housing communities. And that would be Black Lemonade at Preston Taylor Apartment Complex for 50 slots, Aspiring Youth Enrichment Services at Sudicum Apartments for 50 slots, and Bethlehem Centers of Nashville at Henry Hale Apartments for 20 slots. That would be a total of $153,600, serving 120 youth in the month of June 2025 for 4-week, 5-day, full days summer camps in all those 3 locations. And that's what I request approval for.
Okay, I was looking at, because I think I was looking at Bethlehem Centers because I couldn't think of the other public housing that's near Fisk. It was John Henry Hale. I think Bethlehem Center is serving not just John Henry Hale, but I can't think of the other housing development that's right there with Fisk. 'Cause
Yes,
it's not the renovated housing. It's the
So they're gonna bring kids to Bethlehem Centers this year, but if we have funding for next year, they're gonna actually set up a camp inside the apartment complex. But the other two are setting up the camps inside the apartment communities, because MDHA wants to create more safe communities, and bringing programs into the communities help parents feel more safe about their kids being around. So we're trying to be intentional. But because Bethlehem Centers was already serving families from Henry Hale, this was like an easier expansion just to bring 20 more kids over to their center this year, and then get ready to set up a center inside next year.
Great to know.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you. Okay, so could we have a motion to approve the amendments to add 153.6 to fund the other 3 sites for summer? All right, Keith has a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Second. So we have a motion on the floor and a second to contract with these agencies to add $153,600 to fund the 3 sites for the summer camps.
Can I make one clarification? We
Yes.
already have contracts with these agencies. We're just amending their contracts to increase funding.
So we're approving the amendments to their contracts in the amount of 153.6. Thank you. We have a second on the floor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And
Appreciate
thank
it.
you for doing that. I know we asked you a lot of questions last month, so thank you for coming back again. Kyle,
Joyce, it's 1:30.
I know, we've had a lot of, can we do this? Can we do 5 minutes?
Yes, 5 minutes.
They promised us 5 minutes. Can we do that? Because we've already added 2 things to next month's agenda.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, for sticking around. I'm really excited today to introduce you to our new Metro Archivist. You may or may not know, but our beloved former Metro Archivist Ken Feith retired back in November after 35 years of great service, and those are some pretty big shoes to fill, but we think we have successfully found someone to fill that. I want to introduce you today to Kelly Serco. Kelly holds degrees from Ohio Wesleyan University, the College of Charleston, and the University of South Carolina. She has worked here at the Metro Archives for the last 13 years. She has certification from the Academy of Certified Archivists in 2018. She also has certification from the National Association of Government Archivists and Record Administrations in 2023. And earlier this year, she just received her certification for archives management from the Tennessee Archives Institute this year. And she's a Capricorn, which you may or may not want to know. But Kelly is here today to share a couple of really exciting projects with you. I think you're going to see her face and see this name for many years to come as she tries to bring the archives up into the modern world and make those collections more accessible to everyone. And so, anyway, please welcome Kelly Serco.
Kelly, welcome aboard.
And you've got like 30
We're
seconds.
so glad to have you. We warned you because this is a boy that asked a lot of questions and had a lot of
I'll be
discussion.
quick.
But that's fine. That's the way we like it.
Thank you. I'll be quick. Yeah, we just real quick, we do have a couple of projects that have come up. The main one is our Nashville Neighborhood History and Culture Home Movie Project. This was an idea from Carissa Riccardi, who is our audiovisual archivist, and we do have a video that we can play for you so that she can do the talking.
Yeah, just your talk. Huh?
Yes.
Huh? How long is the video, Kelly?
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay.
Nashville has always had a rhythm of its own, a city built on stories, on sound, on soul. But lately, that beat feels faster. The skyline continues to grow, streets and neighborhoods evolve, and in all the change, it's easy to forget. Nashville isn't just what's being built, it's what's been lived. This project is about honoring the families, communities, and cultures that have long shaped this city, especially those whose stories have too often gone unseen. The Nashville Neighborhood History and Culture Home Movie Project is an open archive created by and for the people of Nashville. It's a space to preserve the everyday and elevate the voices that make this city what it is. Because Nashville is a mosaic of cultures, of languages, of traditions, and every piece matters. We're building a collection not just to save these stories, but to share them. For future generations who deserve to know where they come from, not just through textbooks and headlines, but through real voices, real faces, real lives. For students, for researchers, for artists and historians looking for a fuller, more honest portrait of this place. For anyone who wants to understand what Nashville truly is, a city shaped by many cultures, many voices, many lives, all woven together into the fabric of a city that's still becoming. This archive is a gift to the future, a way of saying, we were here, this is what it looked like, what it felt like, what it meant.
Yeah, we've done our soft launch back in April. Of the 6 people who signed up to do it, 4 showed up. And we did interviews with them, we took their materials in, we've been inspecting them, and we're working on getting them digitized as we speak.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so
Questions?
much. Thank you. Any other comments?
So moved.
No, needs no second. We are adjourned. Thank you. We accomplished a lot today. Thank you very much.
Sean, do you have 1 minute? Sure. I mean,
Sorry about this.